I've always been under the mindset that if I'm providing you with a device for internet, I've got to protect you 24/7. It was brought forward to me probably 3 years ago is when I first started seeing it. And I did my due diligence. I compared it against everything that was out there, and it just stood out above everybody else to me in what its growth and what its, what it was developing into at that point. We've actually only had the filtering component in place this year. Now, we had a prior product, not from Linewize, that was meeting the requirements of the law, but was really not developing and moving forward as what I was seeing out of Linewize just through the interactions I'd already had with it. So by putting that filtering at a much higher quality and picking up a whole lot better component in that, that was a huge advantage for me myself, because I'm the one that's ultimately in charge of all filtering of the internet for students. I've got a little bit of a story I'd like to tell about a teacher. I was sitting in our end of year meeting last year. It was district wide. Everybody was in there. It was a training session. Teacher leans over to me and she goes, "Aren't you the director of technology?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "I got a question for you. Are we going to have a way to manage the kids next year on their internet?" And I said, "As a matter of fact, we are." And she goes, "Well, that's wonderful. I might actually stay here and teach next year then." I was floored, because that was her tipping point. Is she's like, "I can't control these kids anymore." And not having something to manage them was enough that she was ready to leave for another school district, or that maybe even the teaching field. Those that have adopted ClassWise have done nothing but praise it. They have just like, "This changed my classroom so much," because the kids, it's not just a wild, wild west and the kids are sitting there doing whatever they want to do on their Chromebook. I now get to say, you get to do these 3 things today. And that's what we're going to do. If you behave, you pay attention, we get our work done. Maybe we get a little free time at the end of the period. But I'm now in control. I've had teachers give me what I call drive-by thank yous, to where I'm working in a room, in a building, a media center, wherever it is, and they'll literally walk by me and go, "Thank you for ClassWise," and keep walking. That's all. And that right there just explodes my heart. I mean, that makes me so happy. Once we started that filtration, we started getting better control, but what we were missing, I really, really think, was the monitoring component. While we had a little piece that was doing the monitoring for us before, it was only doing a small fraction, because it was only monitoring inside their Google Drive. So if the students didn't type something inappropriate or didn't say something that make them in a vulnerable situation, we weren't picking those up. And with Linewize monitoring, because it's essentially a keystroke reader, it was picking up everything that students were typing on the screen. When we turned that on, we actually were able to save the lives of 3 different students that I can verify who were putting themselves in harm's way. A couple of them were talking about committing suicide, and we were able to find them immediate mental health officials to help them with that side of it. And we had another student who was putting themselves into a human trafficking situation. And because of those monitoring components being in place, we were able to pick those up almost immediately when they occurred. And we were able to prevent those things. And I feel like we saved the lives of those 3 students right away. There is no cost for a child's life. There's no way to put a dollar figure to that. And if we're protecting the kids that way, we're doing the right thing. We're providing the students with a device that gets them internet access. And we're doing, this through grades 5 through 12. While the parents understand, we're managing those and controlling them at school. When those students brought those devices home, they were a little unnerved in a sense of the students were coming in saying they'd been given this internet access device and that it was theirs to do as they wish. And some of the parents did not feel that they had good control of that. So by providing them with access, they not only get to see what the district is doing as far as filtering and managing, that also gave them a little bit of control when it was after school hours, because we found out that many of our parents did not feel that their students needed to have so much access as the school is providing. While we use YouTube as an example, is a component that we leave open for our students in a very restrictive manner. But many of our parents don't feel that their children need to have access to YouTube. So by granting them with the Custodio, they have that ability now to say yes or no as to whether or not their students can have that additional access, after school hours. One of the biggest impacts we've seen is since the parents have been signing on and adopting their side of it, we've seen some pretty significant reductions in the number of monitoring alerts that we're receiving because the parents are involved. And we needed to see that because that also helps my admin staff who have to deal with all those alerts on a regular basis. So to see those drop really helped just some of the workload on our administrative staff. And it helps me because I have to deal with every one of the alerts, regardless of what school they're coming from. So now we got the parents involved. We've got the teachers involved. I'm involved. My job's getting better because the teachers are getting better with it. The parents are involved, so that makes my job a little easier too, but it also makes the teacher's job a little easier too, because the kids are actually doing their work instead of playing around at home and getting things done. It was super easy. I mean, honestly, the parent side was just super easy to implement. I'm pretty much the one that runs all of Linewize. So I handle all the alerts. I handle all the filtering setups. I handle all the implementations of all the products. And we have them all, it seems like anymore, because we've got the image blurring, and now we've started doing the cloud scan. We've got all those pieces, but every time we implement something, it's like an hour, and then I'm done. Everybody's been great to work with. I have had no problems whatsoever. Even this morning, I had support. I tried to start a chat with support on a small little issue, and it was only giving me an option to email. 20 minutes later, I got a response back saying, "Hey, sorry, our system is being a little wonky this morning. We've got your ticket. We're taking care of it." So the communications have been phenomenal. And like I said, every time I work with somebody, I get great results, and it just keeps getting better and better.